Oh, it's going. Hey everybody, cyberclone Alpha here, and I see there's no one tuned in, but that should change momentarily. Hello everybody. Today we are doing some modding, and I have laid out in front of me some very important things to start with, such as these safety glasses. I'll be having them on this entire video, so as to make sure of all safety regulations being kept. These are safety regulations I've set for myself, and they will be followed at all costs, except my life, because they're safety regulations. Now, first off, the first thing we're going to be doing today is putting on our gloves. Okay. The first thing we are going to be doing is looking at our mags. Now, there are a few different types of mags. This is a Talon mag. This is a Nerf 12-round mag, and I believe I have an 18 just here. Now, these three types of mags are the only types that can fit a viable amount of darts for a Nerf game. Hello everybody, by the way, welcome. Welcome, I see there are 3 of you here, very good. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask in the live chat. Now, each of these 3 are the only ones really viable for any sort of real nerfing. Now, if you're just plinking around a house, under this might be okay. However, if you're playing in with more than, say, 2 people, it won't be enough. These are the 3 mags that I would choose from. Now, 18 round mags. They're good. 18 rounds, right? Bigger is better. Not always. If it is too big, it will get in your way, and I often found that with the 18 round mags that they'd stick up into me and they wouldn't work so good. Now, going down a step, we have these Talon magazines, which are half the size and width, yes, but also a bit longer than this 12, which 12s are really nice. They got good length and good amount of darts to them. However, since they only have 12 rounds, I'm okay with adding that little bit of extra length to my blaster to be able to fire those 3 more shots. If you see the width of this, it's not that much more. It's about the length of a X-Acto knife blade, for example. Hello, Matson. Hey, I was wondering how you add a mag to a single shot. It depends on the single shot, but generally this can be done by making a brass breech and then epoxy puttying or screwing in a mag well. So the other type of mags I'd add to a single shot are Talon or Katanas, depending on your platform. Right now, Talons are a lot cheaper and a lot more available. The Katanas have Jet Blaster. The guys that produce Katanas currently do not stock them for some reason. But Talons aren't that expensive, so if you just get an adapter, you can epoxy it into place, make sure it's all lined up with the brass breech, and then it should work flawlessly. And then you basically turned it into, say, a retaliator, which we will get to in a minute. Now, on that note of magazines, the only downside, which I really don't see as a downside, but a lot of people do, these can only take half darts. These can only take full lengths, but you can modify them to take half darts. This size means I can take the same amount of mags into battle with half the space, and it works great. How would you make a single shot do rapid fire? I would personally learn to reload quickly or get a speed loader. The speed loader is when you have barrel here interchangeable, so pull that one out, slip a new one in, and then you can fire off another shot. That's one way. Another would be to just get really quick at reloading your blaster, and then you'll become almost impossible to stop. Now, back on the subject of mags. The Talon mags can fit around a very small space, and they're 15 darts a magazine. Now, everyone's always going, if I have more darts, that makes me a better player. No, it doesn't. What you do with those darts is what makes you a good player. Here is my rig for the last war I did. This originally was filled with darts, but I tested it afterwards with Talon magazines. And the amount of darts I use in a game does vary, of course, depending on how many players show up and all that. But this is all I need to run it. This can easily fit I can actually fit 4 in there, but all I carry is 2 Talon magazines here and 1 in the blaster, which is, of course, my Retaliator, which is over here. And it's a big blaster, I'm sure, with all its attachments, but I think I can just fit in red. You guys remember this thing, right? So you don't always need it. All I've got is this to hold the magazines and this to dump the magazines after they're empty. Don't want to be dropping on the ground. They're fine. Worker magazines are nice and tough, so it's okay if you do. However, I don't like dropping them on the ground, so I try and slip them in here. And the point being here is that you don't need a massively expensive loadout then. I've got a random built that I can't even remember where I got. I custom made this out of an old car bin, like a car bin. They're one of those flexible car bins you put on the back of the seat, and this was a water pouch before I repurposed it. So you don't have to use the most expensive things. A lot of people even just use duct tape and cardboard. Now, the thing about mags, though, that doesn't happen to, say, single shots, or can happen on revolvers, but definitely doesn't happen on single shots, is that they get dirty. Don't know if you guys can see it, but I dropped this magazine and now it's quite dirty on the inside. So, yeah. Got any more questions about your single shots, Matson? Also, how are you all doing in the chat there? So I'm gonna just be cleaning this while I wait for you guys to ask some more questions. Best blaster to modify. Depends on your purpose. Are you going to be in close quarters? Are you going to are you strong enough to prime a heavy spring load? It all depends on what you can do. Give me an example. Where do you usually play at? Right, that's running a little smoother. So, let me think. Okay, so best Springer to modify. My favorite is the Retaliator, as in the one that I've been working on for about a year now. In an open area, you definitely want a high-powered Springer if you can prime it. Best overall is HPA, but that is a very expensive startup cost. HPA is the same stuff they use in paintball. In an open area, use a high-powered Springer, especially if there's very little cover. You will dominate. And if it's high-powered enough, they won't be able to dodge said darts. Now, wait. And but do be wary, if you do have a high-powered Springer, you will maybe be able to get off 1 shot a second on a good round at the start before your arms get tired, because they will get tired. I was playing with my Springer and before the day was half out, I was already getting really tired because of it. My arms started hurting a lot. So yeah. Now I'm gonna make a cool camera mount for my blaster, I found this idea. It's an old idea, but they didn't use this. There's just a shield mount that really doesn't work that well. And if you get rushed by a flower blaster or even stampede or literally anyone as a springer, you're pretty much doomed unless you can reload quick enough. So you might want to look into finding ways to quickly reload, such as mags. There are a bunch of other options depending on what darts you're using, what materials you have available, and how proficient you are at modding. No, I should not take this. Made a mistake. Never take off your glove while modding. It's even got an A on it. That's nice. Now, what I would not recommend is bothering these 6-round magazines because they are bad. Sadly, they come in a lot of Nerf blasters. And this one was thrifted. Now, I have found a use for them. As I said earlier, I was just going to make a small camera mount. Can you add a longer barrel onto a single shot? Yeah, and if it's a sealed breech, sort of like a real, we'll call it a real blaster, a rifle, shall we say. If it's airtight, you will get very, very good results with a long barrel and a nice, powerful spring. Make sure you upgrade the catch spring as well. And you can add a longer barrel on, and it'll work great. If it's not a sealed breech, if it's just fake barrel, like just the stuff that Hasbro uses to attach to the front of your blasters, don't bother. That will most likely weaken it. Now, trying to open this because in the video I saw, you cut a small spot for your phone's camera to go through, and then eventually mounted it like so. And that means I can video some games for you guys, if you would like to see that. But yeah, longer barrels are great. Like for example, if you use brass, it's really smooth on the inside and the outside, but even more so on the inside. If you cut it correctly and make a single shot breech out of it, so make a sort of slide that opens, you can slip the dart in, and then slide it closed, then that will get you a lot of power. Where's my notes? There it is. Another thing you're going to need to do if you do that is make sure everything's airtight because you do not want to be losing efficiency. Now, turns out that blade was dud, so I'm just gonna get some new blades. Now, here's what not to do with a single shot. Yes, it's a longer barrel, but it's also got a ridge on the inside of it. Not a big ridge, but it is enough to affect accuracy. So if you're going to get a metal, make sure it's smooth insides and it is straight all the way through. And yeah, there are great places to get brass and PVC. If you do use PVC, not all PVC is the same inner diameter. So check what the inner diameter is first by sliding your dart into it or just measuring it out. Most Nerf darts are 12.5 centimeters long, or 12.5 millimeters wide, which means that you can then have a really nice tight barrel, and you don't want it crushing the dart, but you do want it tight, so it can't just fall out. 1730 seconds brass, which, yes, annoying, it's in American values, what's it called? Metric, so that'd be imperial. It's in imperial values, and that is a bit annoying. However, that directly transfers to the inner diameter of 1730 seconds is half an inch, which is 12.5 millimeters, because each of the inches is 2.5 centimeters. So therefore, that should mean that that formula is correct. Now, I'm just trying to open this without damaging it too much. However, I might just get a Dremel and cut that open. Might be easier. Although easy isn't always the best way. So I found out a stream ago, and I just... Okay, so it's almost opening. Alright, so I will need the Dremel. Right. Bring in the Dremel. Any questions, just feel free to ask away, everyone. Yeah. Always have a good supply of Dremel bits. You never know when one will break. I was doing a mod one time and it just broke, and I couldn't mod for quite a while after, at least not that mod. I could mod, but just wasn't quite as good because Dremels can be really accurate if you need them to be. Welcome, more people, hooray! Yep, you can do it on a Fire Strike single shot very easily. Fire Strikes are probably the best starter blaster, and I still love them. I'm doing a really cool Fire Strike mod right now. I'll just quickly show you. Double-ended Fire Strike, minimized and cut down, but stuck together with epoxy body. And it obviously doesn't have the internals in it. That's because I'm still working on them. But it will have brass barrels on both of them, and at least a 5 kilo spring. Yeah, that one's not for power. That one's extra. Dart's better than Nerf. They're better for casual. Actually, almost anything's better than your standard Nerf dart. However, in a sealed breach, X-shot darts become worse because their felt tips, felt/foam tips, are a bit off center all the time, which means they're going to be rubbing on the side of your barrel. So you can either rip them off or just not use X-shot darts. Excuse me, headphone users. Now, as I said earlier, don't worry, it's a 6-round mag. They're not useful for anything whatsoever. And if you want to beat your friends, give them a 6-round mag. Alright, now that that's apart, we will not be needing this or this. Keep them though for later mods, such as maybe an internal mag mods. Is it easier to mod X-shot? No. At this current moment, not really. There are a couple good X-shot blasters, but the majority of them are still weak plastic, which means any stronger springs you're going to put in there will most likely snap them, unless you're just doing a slight spring upgrade. As well as their breaches aren't the best since Nerf patented good stock breaches. So yeah, I've modded a couple ones, and there's a couple good ones, such as the what was it called? The Vigilante 2.0. It has a massive plunger tube, and it was very easy to mod to get it to shoot far. However, it wasn't accurate, and while in one of my old videos I said, oh, forget about accuracy, accuracy doesn't matter. I was 100% wrong. That new blaster I've got is accurate and powerful, so that does make everything a whole lot easier. Now, I know I don't have a glove on this hand, but this one is the one always using the tools. If I have a glove on this hand, it will hamper my ability to use said tools. So, next up, I'm just going to get my phone and unplug it because it's on charge, and make sure I'm not missing anything. And make sure that my phone can fit, because my phone might be a bit, my phone's a bit big. However, that is okay, because that means that I can cut this down still. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just cut it down a bit, and then it should be all good. Once again, sorry any people who are using headphones. Okay, so next I need to find a good spot to mount this on, and make sure I have a camera hole either here or there. I'm not quite sure where I want the camera. Do I want it? Which end do you guys reckon would be better? On the outer skirt, so you can't see most of the blaster, but you can see where my darts are heading, or so that you can see most of the blaster? I don't know what's the best. What do you guys think? Oh, we got 6 people. Cool. So what do you guys think on this matter? Should I put it this way or that way? Camera's on this side right now. Now it's on the other side. This side will be closer to the blaster. The other side is a bit further away, but it will mean that you don't see the blaster. Come on, guys. Give me an answer. That way. Thanks. This way? Or the... Okay, left facing or right facing? Okay, so it is that way. That way, right. Okay. Right, so outwards facing. Cool. Thank you for your input, Tony the second. I shall now proceed to cut that out. Alright. Since I'll be doing it on the right side, I just make a small incision here. So it's good to have a bunch of different tools, because you never know when you might need each tool. We'll see if this works. Hey, first try. Got it. Good. That is just surrounding the camera port, which means that it shouldn't break off. Now, on the other side, probably need to. I need to have a securing mechanism. Obviously, this is not gonna hold it still while in combat, but I will figure that out. Now this side needs to have a space open so I can start recording and stop recording when I see necessary. What if I cut in a hole around this area? That would work. A half size better than regular. You mean darts, right? If you do mean darts, yes, a lot better in every way. You can fit them into smaller spaces. They shoot harder and more accurately. In every single way, half darts are better. Okay, so now we have that almost cut out. Just gonna do one more line, and it'll all be done. And then we can move on to the next mod, which will be which will be doing a sum of double dealer mods, which is what am I doing now? So I'm making a camera holder because I don't have a GoPro or any of their variants. I am making a thing to put my camera in. We'll get to the blaster modding in a minute. I just wanted to do this. I thought it'd be interesting. And that should just come right out now. Now, that needs a bit of cleanup, which is easy enough to do with the right tool. And I'll just cut off the rest of the chunk that's on there. This space is going to get cluttered, so I'll move it away. Most important to get the stuff on the inside because I don't want to scratch it on my phone if at all possible. The outside stuff, not so much. That can stay there for now. That'll get cleaned up in a minute. Now I'll just test the phone. Make sure I can at least touch the start button. And I should be able to with that screen. It's good. Now we have to secure it to this part here. Yeah, now you just have to make sure this is aligned and screw it into this part. Now, thinking, so this will slide on here, so I'll screw it in like that. Can you guys see what I'm doing to this thing? A wooden Nerf. Can I make a wooden Nerf gun? Yes. I think it would be more. You'd have to make the springs metal still, of course, but the majority of the blaster can be wood. Excuse me. The wood can be A lot of people have made blasters out of wood. They've made almost complete blasters. They just took the internals and made them out of PVC because while the shell is easy to make out of wood, the other pieces such as the plunger tube and spring are not, which means that you're going to have a lot harder time if you try and make it out of it. Wood is not generally as smooth as plastic, so I wouldn't bother, but making an external out of wood is amazing. You can even 3D print with wood filament now. And why didn't you leave it on? You could open it and can you turn it around? This. Can I turn it around? Yeah, I could if I could find the other piece. I could potentially. So it looks like this right now. What we're making looks like this. And then you flip it around, and then it's got the camera part there. Why don't you leave it on so you could open and close it? Leave what on? I'm sorry, what do you mean by leave it on? And back to the subject of the wooden Nerf gun. Yes, once again, it can be done, but just don't bother making the internals out of it. Now, get the appropriate size drill bit for this. Make sure you can fit a Nerf screw once you are done the drilling. For those of you that have a 3D printer, you could pretty much just print off one of these if you know how to design it. I do not know how to design it, so I am just going to drill through some plastic. It's a lot easier than 3D designing. Sorry, that's just out of you guys' view. Not much to see anyways, but the piece that I cut, why didn't I leave it on? Because then it got in the way of me opening it. If it gets in the way of me opening it, I always cut things off. Or try and leave them off first. Alright, now that that's through, that's one screw hole through. For any of you guys thinking of modding out there, don't be too worried about it. There's some very simple mods you can do, such as replacing the spring. You can replace the barrel pretty easily as well. That's not a hard mod. Just make sure you get the right tools for the job. Such as a drill, for example. If you've already got a drill or your parents have a drill, then that makes the whole process a whole lot easier. Alright, so that's through. Now I just have to go through this side as well of this piece in the same spot, well, same relative spot. So I'm going to drill through these two. There's little ridges on the bottom. You can drill through two of them here. No wonder it took so much effort. I was drilling in reverse. Right, that was a lot easier to drill. than the other parts. I'm sorry for keep moving it out of shot. I'm still practicing with these live streams. Alright, so those holes are through. Just dump the mess and do my tools. Otherwise I would not be using them, or I'd get an earmuffs or something that helps them not damage my hearing. Nerf is better than X-Shot, although they're starting to change the way they do things, such as the Nerf Ultra one. That is not such a good thing. If you have a choice between getting that or literally any X-Shot blaster, choose the X-Shot blaster. But Nerf is still better than X-Shot, although their price is a bit higher as well, so it does still depend on the price standpoint. Yes, and now I'm going to get some extra screws through here. Always pack everything you need into one small area. There's some extra screws. This one. I found it. Simply put, we'll just shove a screw into this hole, screw it, drill it through, basically self-tapping out our own screw, what do you call it? Just the area for the screw to go into and out of. Now, what I said earlier about Nerf being better than X-Shot, there are of course a few blasters for each to pick and a few blasters to stay away from. Nerf to stay away from would be Delta Troopers. No, actually, that's not fair. Surge Fire, I would stay away from. Fire Strike is good. Get those whenever you get the chance. Retaliators, good. Bomb Shot, also good. And then there are some blasters that are just there for fun, which are good, but it all depends if you're looking at it from a performance standpoint or a other fun standpoint. What you do. The plastic is better in Nerf. That's why I say Nerf is better. X-Shot is starting to get there, but Nerf I've got decades of experience on them, so you can't blame X-Shot too heavily for that. Plus, X-Shot's community, like listening to its community, is a lot better. And then better again are Dart Zone. They're not really available here in Australia, but they just released a new one that is marketed towards the pro, like going pro in nerfing. So instead of having to mod your blaster up to 170 FPS, they give you one right out of the box, which is amazing, however highly expensive. So I just saw a few reviews of them being released, and they were cool. However, yeah, then I looked at the price, and I thought, the shipping to Australia might be a bit much. I might just get a Prophecy, which is like a Retaliator, but stronger. It has better plastic, once again, so if you wanted to made that, that would be Worker. They don't mass produce as much as Nerf or X-Shot would, but they make really, really good products. I used to not like them, but after using a couple of their kits, it makes your life a whole lot easier. Although I would recommend Brass Breach instead of their kit. Their plastic is amazing on their expanded pod machine. Yeah, this is really hard to line up. Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll take it out of this. I'll take the screw out of this one. Then, how expensive? Depends where you get it, but $40 for the shell alone. Of course, you're paying for. Of course, they knew you're going to swap out most of the internals anyway, so they only included stuff like the trigger and the what else did they include? The front attachment point and the back attachment point and the mag release. That's about it for inclusion of what they include out of the box. You can get them in packs, which come with all the parts you'll need. But yeah. So if you're just getting into it, prophecies are probably not the best way to go, but they are still a better option again. They're like Retaliator, but better. Ah man, why is this giving me so much trouble? Oh. Okay, just fixed it up a bit. Once I get the screw through, we will move on to the next part of the project, which I am happy about. Ah, we're losing people, seriously, come on. Hey everyone, tell your friends to come on, message all your friends, tell them to come and watch modding awesomeness. Okay, tiny drill bit, and then go back through with that bit again. Okay, that just cleared that out. I think there was just a bit of stuff on the outside. Okay, I think I should be able to get that in now. Okay, this is frustrating. I have no idea why this is hard to get through. Might be the plastic. Might be that I'm not doing it correctly. I don't know. What I do know is it's really annoying me. And I don't know. You guys want to see me move on to the next mod, or do you want to keep just doing this and talking to you guys, or what? You want to see the Doom as Double Dealer mod? Oh wow, the screw does not want to go in. I'm gonna need it. Thankfully, all screws here have the same tap, so they should. Emphasis on should fit with each other. So you guys want to see me move on to the next part of this video, or do you want to continue seeing this me fiddle around for ages with a screw trying to fit it into a hole? Okay, so it went in properly this time. So that's good. We got the first hole. Now nice and tapped in and all that. The rest should be easy. And as I say that, the whole world shall know. And because I said that, that's the way it works, everybody. That is the way it works. There. This is not true. Alright, that's good now. Okay, fixed it. Now, I can go in the other way and just absolutely fix this all up. So what do you guys want to see on the channel more often? Mod guides, places. Would you like to find some information on places to buy parts from? Would you like to see some guests appear on the channel? Maybe some loadout videos? What do you guys want to see? Yeah, that should do it. Hello? Is anyone there? So, what do you guys want? Do you want to see more mod guides, demonstrations, collaborations with other Nerf YouTubers, or what? What do you want to see? Could even do loadouts. Alright. Want to see me sing? Okay. What do you want to see me sing? Alright, after the screen, I'm going to... Oh, okay, that's not good. Where is my right? Alright, so needs one more screw in it, but we'll leave it at that for now. Anything? Okay. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Assist trophy. Alright. For this next mod, I have two universal breaches. They were not designed for this, but they're universal, right? So they should work. This song's gonna get stuck inside your. This song's gonna get stuck inside your head. Yeah, so dance, dance. Yeah, so I have some epoxy here and something so I don't mess this up. Now, as soon as I put this, I am going to have to run this outside because epoxy is bad for you. If you get it in your lungs, it will destroy. Where to buy stuff from? Yeah, okay, I can do a video. I'll do top 5 places to buy Nerf products from, and I already know which number one's going to be. But you guys are going to have to find out later. You guys are going to have to watch that video. That's right. Yeah. So these universal breaches, same as a worker pusher breach, which is in the Retaliator, and that means that they're going to feed darts more reliably than if I did a brass breach. Brass breaches are amazing, can use both full length and half length darts. However, this is the double dealer. Meet it in all its madness and glory. The front end has been taken off for now. I'll be put back on later. So that's already a jam fest. I don't want that plus the ability of chopping up darts of the Retaliator. I just want something easy and quick, and while that's not necessarily my style usually, I'm fully happy with building things myself. I want it to work and work well. The pusher system, while not as efficient, will work just fine for my purposes. Now, to do this, I'm going to have to cut here, which is fine. That's not actually a important part of the blaster. It was, but if I am doing this mod, it will become useless anyway. So I will begin cutting. You saw nothing. That was not a bad cut, no. That was just spinning. Yes, let's go with that for now. Alright. Now, you can print these off at home. They do require Euro rings, which you can buy from Plastic, or other places. You can get them from your local hardware store if you know the size. I've got a bag of them just here, which is good because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this, and that wouldn't be good. Now these do require a breach. Sorry, not a breach. These are the breach. They do require a barrel at the end, brass barrel, or something similar to fit it in. I would recommend brass because it's once again smoother. Unless you got someone who can machine their barrel for you, that's always the best option. I'm just going to test fit now. Okay. All right. So they're almost. Huh. Okay. These are almost tight enough that I could just not epoxy them in, but then air would escape. So, oh great. What have I done? That was a mistake, guys. Don't do that. Don't stick your breech in until you're ready to go with the epoxy. I have to find a way to get that. Is this long enough? Come on, be long enough. No, it's not good. Okay, what I can do is just stick this down there. And then this down there. See, this is a multi-stage process. I grab a bunch of different stuff. Okay, forget the multi-stage. We're just going to leave her now. Okay. This is not good. See, there are some catastrophes that happen one morning, even if you know what you're doing. But it is most certainly worth it when you get results. Okay, sorry for not keeping this in shot, guys. Okay. I had a super hard time getting this out last time, and I have a feeling I am going to have an even harder time this time. Let me think. Okay, anyone know how to get stuff out of things? I could use pliers, but I'm not breaking the breach. Okay, that worked without breaking the breach. Okay. Now, I printed off these two. Do any of you have printers at home? Oh, Blast Tech is best for buying parts. Yes, because they are local. They're in Brisbane. Well, as close to local as you can get one. If you're in Brisbane, then you can probably just buy it off of them, like, immediately. Just walk up to them and say, hey, I want to buy this, this, and this, and take it. They've got good prices, great customer service. They'll answer your most silly questions. They've answered my most silly questions. That's how come I know. Yeah, those guys are probably going to be number one on the list. Just going to make sure that this is nice and clean before doing this. As soon as I open up that epoxy, I'm going to run outside. Gotta go. Thanks for the info. Alright, well, see you later. Have fun doing stuff. And I'll see you next time then, I guess. The rest of you, please stick around. We're still modding, and hopefully this will be awesome. Well, it will be definitely awesome once we're done with it, but it's gonna take a while. Epoxy doesn't dry fast. Neither do I work fast, annoyingly. Alright, I think that's the right size O-ring. Now, O-rings are just to ensure that you get a good seal with the metal. Plastic on metal isn't a good seal, as Nerf has demonstrated multiple times. And just make sure everything is lined up and good to go. And then I will start cracking open this epoxy. Okay. Why does everything have to be hard on camera? It's so easy when everything's off camera. Okay, that's it. They get to with their boxes, I get to cheat with my knife. Now, do we have any aspiring modders out there? Okay. This is going to be annoying once I open it, so be very, very careful when using epoxy. First, I'm just going to twist this up. Alright. There we go. Now, this piece is just to put back on once you're done with the epoxy. Let's cut this off, and I'll put the nozzle on, and we'll start. Actually, might need to make this a bit shorter. Yes, we will need to make this a bit shorter. Never mind. Where's my sender? Alright, so that gets the initial dust out. I'll just quickly get the new Dremel drum out, and then we can finish off this mod. Okay, so there's just some burrs left over. I'm just going to cut them off. Remember, everyone, the more work you do on a blaster, the cleaner it will be. Okay, just a bit lower. Alright, that's low enough. Now, we'll have to do some cleanup after, but this should work. Now, epoxy time, finally. Come on. No. Do not touch epoxy. Apparently it is corrosive and stuff like that. I've never had that happen to me because I didn't touch it. There's a solidified piece of yellow jelly just there. Ah, there you go. It's coming out now. Right, so I'm just going to put on this knob to make things easier, which I'm not sure if it will, but it should according to the advertisement on the box. I'll just seal that. And then I just simply put this in here and go around. Okay, this is very strange. Never used this one before, but it should make an equal mix without me having to do it manually, is what it said. Boxes lie sometimes. So, okay, so that's a good even goopiness. I'll just quickly insert that in. Just using my glove to. Now we don't want any excess if we can avoid it. So I'll just clean that all up using one of these. Clean all the excess up. That'll. Once that's done, I'll put on the other breech. Get the other breech going. Both of these have been roughed up, by the way. Always rough up your stuff before gluing it. No, don't do that. Uh-oh, this isn't going well. No. Once you've done that part, just okay, I'm damaging the cardboard. That doesn't matter. That's what that was placed there for, to be disposable. Now I think I got it all. I'll just make sure I wipe away the excess on that as well. Using a different one this time. Now these are both pretty straight, although that is a bit better than the last one, so I'll just. And that should, sorry about so much of that being out of the frame, guys. Yeah. This is good stuff because I shall now put this outside and it will dry apparently within 5 minutes, fully cure in 24 hours. So I'm going to quickly do that. You guys amuse yourselves, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about the delay. Now, just a second to comments, see if there's anything happened while I was gone. Alright, nothing happened while I was gone. That's good. Except Tiggy the second did something that I cannot understand. Sorry, Tiggy. Alright. Now, next up on the agenda, it was internals of a blaster, which we all No One Love. I need to do a tune-up on, and you guys get to see its latest debut of internals because I don't think I had shown its latest version, and I got the proxy on this. There's a bit more in it. That didn't help. That is some of the things that happen one morning. Alright. I think I'm actually going to wrap up the stream here, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all so much. Please like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And please tell all your friends about this channel and what we're going to be doing soon. Anyway, goodbye all.